right. So the Utah Mammoth did ink Nick Schmaltz to an 8-year, $64 million contract extension today, actually.
Yeah.
Which is the last year that a team's going to be able to do an 8-year contract, by the way.
Oh, really? Yeah, because they're changing the rule, right?
Yeah, so underneath the new CBA, it's a 7-year max that they can do. But this one's going to be an 8-year, and it has an 8-year AAV. So 8 years, $64 million. And like I said, next year it goes down to 7. So, yeah, super awesome, man. I love that extension, man. What do you got on Nick Schmaltz?
Yeah, really. I mean, it's no surprise that this is it. Like, Nick Schmaltz has played fantastic hockey, and he's got career high in goals this season. So, so far he's got 24 goals, and that's a career high with 17 games remaining. So he's already got 59 points, and when you add in the 35 assists, he has a plus 21 while he's on the ice, which is also a career high. So as of right now, he's 1 second under his career high for time on ice at 19 minutes and 41 seconds. But that could still climb. I mean, we still got plenty of time, and lots of games left in the season, and obviously we're hoping to make sure this team pushes into the playoffs.
Exactly. This is two out of these are two players that we have on 8-year contracts right now.
Yeah.
So we have Nick Schmaltz, we just inked that new deal. We also have Logan Cooley, who's also on the payroll, who is in year 2 of his 8-year deal.
Absolutely.
With his expense, and then there's also, Clayton Keller, who's on an 8-year deal that he signed with the
Coyotes, right?
With the Coyotes, yeah. Back.
Okay.
So he's got 2 more years left on that deal. So that, I expect to see an extension with that.
And he's young enough that we could see an extension or maybe an additional contract that goes into that new 7-year plan or whatever. And hopefully we're going to keep him around, and, we want to see him continue on this team and continue to make playoff pushes.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of the route that they want to go. The Mammoth are really kind of going for it right now and really kind of pushing all their chips in the middle for sure. And it's exciting. It's exciting for this team.
The Nick Schmaltz signing really shows that this team is pushing him in, and they're trying to make an aggressive push to the playoffs. And then they went out and they did another thing that we kind of wanted to talk about as far as the MacKenzie Weegar trade.
Yeah. So the Utah did make a trade, about a week or so now. Again, exactly right after we recorded last week.
Every single time.
So if you want to see breaking news, it happens every day on Thursday.
Yeah.
Or
Wednesday night after 7:00 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Right.
Or Thursday morning.
Yes, exactly. That's when everything happens. And of course, that's exactly when the MacKenzie Weegar trade happened. MacKenzie Weegar, he is good for 22 points so far this year.
Yeah.
He's got 19 goals, 3 assists in 61 games played. Known for high volume shooting from the defensive position. He's actually 13th amongst all defensive players last year, which is pretty cool. He's also known for his penalty killing efficiency. He's currently in the 3rd year of his 8-year deal. So there you go. There's another 8-year deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the books there, worth $50 million, which is actually a $6.25 million AAV. This seems to be by many experts as a way for the Mammoth to reinforce that defensive core that they've established in Utah.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you add him with Mikhail Sergachev, like all of a sudden we got some really good guys on that defensive line that are able to produce goals, be really efficient defensively. And it just makes it for a really exciting time in Utah Mammoth. So with the trade for MacKenzie Weegar, obviously it was a trade, right? So we had to give up some pieces. We had to give up 3 2026 first-round draft picks. Prospect Jonathan Castagana.
Heard it both ways.
And defenseman Ali Mata. So Ali Mata, the 6'2" defenseman, he was kind of getting to the point where he was getting a late scratch in the games, right? He wasn't always, seeing playing time. His stats had kind of fallen. And he's got a great opportunity to go to the Calgary Flames and get some additional playing time. And he actually said in his post interview that he was looking forward to going and being able to help some of the young guys and keep coaching and, looking forward to some of the additional playing time.
Yeah, I think it's also really important to mention that MacKenzie Weegar had to waive his no trade clause to come to Utah.
Which is so cool, dude. I mean, it's crazy that Utah is becoming a destination city for NHL players.
Yeah, we talked about this actually at the trade deadline last year. There was actually a lot of kind of back channel chatter about, at the trade deadline, players were asking about
Utah and
Utah Hockey
if
Club
they were
at the
looking
time.
for anybody and if they had a chance to go there.
Yeah, and we're always trying to see the fruits of that labor, where we're seeing a great offseason from this team, great draft, and now we're at the cusp of where they are now with adding, MacKenzie, to this team. We're really in a position where players, like I said, are waiving no trade clauses on their contracts to come here.
Yeah, and it really just shows that the Mammoth are shifting, right? For a couple of years there, they were 100% rebuilding, right? They were gathering draft picks. They were doing everything they could to get as many assets as they could. And then now you see them pushing aggressively to improve the roster. And as they're improving this roster, it's showing. Like they're getting players that want to come here. They're getting good, solid players that want to stay here, signing long-term contracts here, waiving no trade clauses to be a part of this roster because they believe in what Bill Armstrong and the Utah Mammoth are building.
Yeah, I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a great time, to be part of a fan base for whether you are an existing hockey fan or not, which is kind of what we build Utah Mammoth DNA to be, right?
Absolutely.
Kind of like an introductory channel to the sport.
Because we're not lifelong hockey fans.
No.
You know what I mean? And there's plenty of Utah hockey channels out there. We're here to provide you what it is to be a new fan to Utah hockey.
Absolutely.
Right. And what we're seeing, and we want to help get you through some of the stats and teach you some of the stuff. We've got a lot of cool videos. Make sure you check them out. Utah Mammoth DNA.
Yeah. Link to the channel will be in the description down below. So be sure to check it out if you're watching this on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, or if you're listening on our podcast after the fact on audio. By the way, give us a rate and review. All the stars always helps.
Do it.
So with that said, man, there's a lot of moves that has been happening for this team coming down the stretch here. We want to talk a little bit about, how that's affecting this team when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. And since the break, right? I mean, the biggest thing is since the break, Utah has gained 9 points in the playoff standings. As of the time of recording, they've gone 4-4 since the break. And, we still got about 17 games remaining and 11 of those games come at home. So that's super important, right? I mean, these rowdy Utah Mammoth fans, they're going to help, they're going to show up, and they're going to continue to help power this Utah team to some more wins and finish out this season and make sure that they get this team on their way to their first playoff appearance as the Utah Mammoth.
Yeah. Speaking about playoff appearances, that's something I actually want to dive in a little bit deeper on.
Yeah.
So if you talk about before the Olympic break, the Mammoth had an 86% chance of making the playoffs, which is really, really good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really, really good. Epic collapse. Maybe they still fall out of favor, right?
Yeah.
Well, since then, and like the closest team to them was 3 points behind them for the next best to kind of challenge that top spot in the wild card, which is Seattle Kraken, by the way.
Which is awesome, dude. And it really just shows you how good the NHL is doing with relocating teams or building expansion teams and really like catering to fan bases that want an NHL franchise they're going to support. And dude, it's a really cool time to be an NHL fan.
It really is. It really, really is. And like I said, they were only 3 points behind them at the wild card at the time of the break for the top spot in the wild card at the time of the break. Since then, they are now 6 points behind the Utah Mammoth, and now they have a 98.9% chance of making the playoffs, according to Stathletes, which via ESPN article. So
that's all but locked.
Yeah, that's about as close as you can get to a lock without actually being a lock.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, AJ, I think it's the right time to state on this channel. You've heard it here first, folks. We're going to get Stanley Cup playoffs hockey in Utah.
Which is just crazy, dude. I mean, especially, it's been years since we've had Utah Jazz playoffs.
Oh, don't get me started on that, dude.
We'll talk about that later, though. Make sure you guys stay tuned if you're tuning in on the podcast and you're a Utah Jazz fan. We got more to talk about there.
We definitely do. We definitely do. For sure. I think it's funny because we go back to our vlog day where we were in there, and we were kind of both on the fence on that. Like, you were like, hey, probably want to take it slow. This is a rebuilding team. May take a couple of years for them to make it. I was bullish. I'm like, hey, year one, we're in it, right? We fell short like about 4 or 5 points at the time last year for the last wild card spot. So I think that between the both of us, we landed like dead sun in the middle.
Absolutely a win, man.
We totally nailed
it. Yeah, DNA Sports Recap nailed it. Boom. Oh, actually, Utah Mammoth DNA nailed it.
Boom. I like it.
There it is. But I mean, really, Utah's been up and down since returning, dude. I mean, they got Weegar for his first game back against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And that was a game that they did end up winning 5-4 in overtime. So they did get 1 point for the overtime win. Oh, no, sorry, 2 points for the overtime win. You get 1 point for the overtime loss.
Right.
But, they did end up dropping the next 2 games against Chicago and Minnesota. But the loss to Minnesota, I mean, they were finishing up a 5-game road trip at that point where they just played 5 games in 8 days. So it's going to be nice for them to get home, play a couple. They're out on the road for a couple, and then they got 4 games back at the Delta Center. So they can kind of keep, getting into that groove, get the momentum for the tail end of the season, and just build as much momentum as they can heading into Stanley Cup playoffs.
Oh, for sure. And that road trip was crucial because we actually ended gaining net positive points out of that.
Absolutely.
There's like a total of 10 points to get out of that road trip, and they end up with like 7?
Oh, well, eight games, 2 points each. They could have won 16. They won 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. Net positive. Absolutely.
I think a net positive on points there for sure, especially with the overtime win.
Yeah.
And getting into an overtime, either way, you're in the positive there.
Yeah. They had 1 overtime win and 1 overtime loss.
So getting points on both sides. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
As a reminder, folks, we did just launch a channel specifically for your Utah Mammoth called Utah Mammoth DNA. All of our hockey content for your Utah Mammoth will be posted here. So if you're listening to this on our podcast after the fact, or you're watching this on our live stream, a link to Utah Mammoth DNA will be in the description down below. So make sure you check it out. Subscribe to that channel, hit that like button, slap us some engagement. Really appreciate it. Once this channel is monetized, we will be giving away a Utah Mammoth jersey. So make sure you stick around for that.
Like, subscribe, make it happen. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.